Under the guise of teaching English, Texas school teaches graphic sex to 13-year-olds, including a 7-year-old who performs an oral sex act on an adult. I'm Dr. Duke, and this is The Dr. Duke Show. Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Dr. Duke Show, the only program that keeps you educated on the craziness impacting K-12 classrooms and college campuses around the world. Katie is on maternity leave. She's being maternal. Don't interrupt her. We need more of that from her. So you just got me today. But before we start, I want to ask everyone to please download our new Freedom Project Media app. We're producing 17 new shows a week and about to do an 18th. And we've got much more content on the way. Simply search Freedom Project Media in your app store and make sure once you download the app, you click Allow Notifications so we can send it directly to you. Joined now by Vicki McKenna for CultureCast. Vicki. This is a hell of a story we got going on here. A public school in Texas has actually given exceedingly graphic sexual content, some of the most extreme sexual content I have ever seen in a public school, given to 13-year-olds under the guise of English class. And when moms protested, teachers and local community members who think this is a great idea sent threatening, vulgar, and blasphemous material through the mail, anonymous, to these parents, doxing these parents. One parent received a dead animal in the mail simply for protesting the sexualization of their children.
All they did was say, please don't teach my 13-year-old about how children are performing sex acts on adults. We have crossed a line in this country with education that I don't think anybody realized we were up against, that we were about ready to step over. And I'm wondering if anybody sees it and anybody knows how to get back.
Yeah, this is not an anomaly, as you know, Vicki. We had a situation in Loudoun, Virginia, where something similar happened about 3 weeks ago, where a group of teachers actually got together in their spare time, made a list of all the people, all the moms and dads in their school who opposed the radical sexuality, the Black Lives Matter curriculum, and set about trying to destroy them, to dox them, to destroy them on social media, to actually try to get them fired from their jobs. We had in North Carolina, we had a school administrator who said, whenever school boards, whenever moms and dads complain about this kind of stuff to school boards, ignore them. Any mom and dad who complains against our Black Lives Matter curriculum, any mom and dad who complains about the sex in the school is clearly a white supremacist, and you are under no obligation to even listen to them. And now in Texas, where they've, of course, Austin, let's be very clear, Austin is questionably Texas, right? You wonder why.
It's Madison.
Yeah, exactly. You'd like to see the rest of Texas handle Austin all on its own. It'd be very nice. But like you said, they're sending these moms and dads dead animals. And the blasphemous anti-Christian stuff that hit the mail. After the break here, we're going to talk about that. But so this is not an anomaly. This is the new wave, right? The schools own your kids. You don't own them.
Oh, sure. And here in Wisconsin, it's happening as well. Elmbrook Schools handed out a very graphic sexual content survey to freshman students. And I believe 7th and 8th graders were also given this. And as the children were answering questions, have you ever had anal sex? I'm going to edit some of what was in this survey. Very, very graphic, personal things. The answers were appearing on a screen in real time. When parents complained, as they, of course, did in Elmbrook schools, the parents were haters. The parents were prudes. The parents didn't understand that children needed to know this stuff. And it makes you shake your head and say, how about we ask all of the adults who think kids should be exposed to this kind of content? How about we read that passage of the 7-year-old girl performing a sexual act on an adult in front of those adults on the school board, or ask those same graphic sexual questions that 7th graders and 8th graders and 9th graders are being asked of the school board itself, and see how fast they'd crawl out of their skin before they'd actually answer those questions.
I'll bet you that if a mom took that very text about a 7-year-old performing sex acts on an adult and read them out at a public school board meeting, somebody would have them arrested for child pornography.
Yeah,
if you were reading that out loud in a public meeting, there would literally be, I believe, not figuratively, the possibility that child pornography charges would be filed against the person doing that reading, especially if there were kids in the room. But when you present it to 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds in a middle school classroom, that's perfectly fine. After the
When
break,
an adult presents
Right.
this material to children, try cutting and pasting it and putting it on Facebook. See what happens.
yeah, Twitter will be all over you. Let's pick this up after the break. I want to show you, and this is a warning for moms and dads. If this next 5-minute segment, you need to see this mom, but your kids don't need to be in the room with you, okay? Back again with Vicki McKenna for our Culture Cast for this week. And a horrifying story out of Texas. Texas, it is Austin, Texas, where the Leander School District is showing presenting really graphic sexual information to kids as young as 12 and 13. And they're presenting them in English class, not in health class, not in sex ed class. This is in English class. When moms and dads think the kids are reading The Great Gatsby or something, you're presenting them with radical literature that has 7-year-old children performing sex acts on adults. So mom and dad, you need to see what's happening here, but I would ask you, please send your kids away or send the kids out of the room, because what happened to these moms and dads who fought back? Moms and dads protested. Not many of them weren't even protesting on the grounds of Christianity. They were simply protesting on the immorality of what was being done. Well, local teachers and local neighborhood people who had no problem with this radical sex curriculum started sending horrific things through the mail. Take a look at this. It is a cardboard penis. Across where the testicles are is written, "He has risen," of course, an obvious reference to the resurrection of this Easter week we're in, but also, obviously, the erection. The penis has risen. And shockingly, around the head of the penis is a crown of thorns. This is exceeding blasphemy, right? And again, most moms and dads did not come at this from the angle of biblical Christianity. Right. They were just upset moms.
They were just not wanting their young children to be exposed to, vile, vulgar, deviant sexual activity. And so they're attacked this way. There's a couple of other ones that are horrifying. And I mean, imagine getting a dead animal, a cardboard, penis blaspheming Christ. That's bad. Imagine seeing a dead cat or something like that. And that's the threat now you are processing if you speak out as a parent. That is a threat that makes people fear for their own safety. That is the reaction now that parents are getting. And it's not, you don't just have to complain about sexual content. Parents are getting threatened if they want their children back in classrooms. That is all it will take. You were talking about that Virginia school district. One of the things that those parents were also demanding was that their kids be back in in-person education. And for that, they were being doxxed. There is a group in southern Wisconsin of parents, liberal parents, conservative parents. They all want their kids back in front of the teachers. The teachers union is saying no. For that, they're being accused of being Nazis. There is one woman who leads the group who decided she was going to run for school board, who is now being accused of being a Nazi because she disagrees with the teachers union position on in-person education. So that's what parents are up against. I don't blame parents for being terrified, but you know what? There's safety in numbers. If it's one, you're going to get culled from the herd by these radical, vile, and maybe even violent activists and extremists that are out there. But if there's more than one, it's kind of hard, to call everybody a Nazi and make other people believe it. You can do it, but it's hard to make other people believe it. But I'll tell you what this is all designed to do, Duke. This is designed to keep parents quiet, to keep their heads down, to convince them not to do any investigation into the appalling nature of education in this country, to ask them not to question the curriculum at all, to not look at the materials and not say, my kids aren't being taught anything.
So there's this. There on the left is the cardboard penis sprinkled with sparkly colors, glitter. And here's what the note says. Hope this sparkling dick calms down your fear-mongering, you book-hating Philistine. Right? How's that for a message for mom and dad?
Mind you, these are people who want Jeff Bezos to delete books from Amazon. They the digital version of book burning. But someone who doesn't want their kid, again, I'm going to explain that this book contained a graphic description of a 7-year-old performing a sexual act on an adult male. That's the complaint, not books.
Hey, Vicki, I got to ask you.
The book haters are the ones who want to delete the books. I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Duke, go ahead.
I got to ask you, because this is a serious question. You're right, the book deleters, the one, Dr. Seuss was banned, number of his books, 6 of his books, because of the suggestion of racism. It wasn't racism. He wasn't drawing black people with big lips or anything. He was drawing made-up characters that made modern-day racial sensibilities uncomfortable. Why is the left, how nobody calls this out? When it comes to things like race, everything is suggestive of racism, so everything has to go. We did a story on your show the other day about how sheet music, literally sheet music, writing down notation so you can play things like symphonies, that now has to be challenged because it's white supremacist. So when it comes to race, for progressives, everything is so sensitive. When it comes to sex, they're going to put big cardboard penises with a crown of thorns on it right in the mail, and they don't see the least bit problem with that. How can the liberal mind function that way?
Well, this is just about breaking down cultural norms. One of the things that has to happen is in order to transform a society, and you take, the institutions of Western civilization, the family, the church, a representative democracy like we live in or sort of used to live in here. If you're going to break down foundational institutions of the United States, you have to break down the foundational norms that support those institutions, that demand those institutions. And one of those norms is sexuality. If you can divorce the idea that sex is supposed to be something that is private, that it is something that is done only out of love, that any kind of sort of promiscuity should be discouraged, that marriage should be something sought in a religious setting, if you can take that idea that is a cornerstone of American culture and you can shatter it. And one of the ways you shatter it is you treat sex as if it's nothing. Sex is nothing more than brushing your teeth. Sex is nothing more than, taking a shower. If you can reduce sexuality to the mundane, then I think that a lot of the left, sort of, I guess we could maybe call these the sexual Marxists, believe that they will be able to effect a change in law and a change in culture rapidly. And I'm not sure they're wrong.
No, they're right. And I'll go one step further to end this segment with a rather disgusting observation. If teaching 10-year-olds, 11-year-olds, 12-year-olds, giving them books in English class that seem to promote the idea of 7-year-old girls performing sex acts on adults, maybe the progressive left, maybe the silver lining here, Vicki, is that the progressive left can no longer be outraged by the Catholic Church pedophile priest scandal. I mean, because according to the public schools now, children performing oral sex on adults, that's perfectly natural. So good, maybe we can get past that. Maybe the progressive left will drop that particularly hobby horse, although I'm not betting on it. Joined now this Easter week by Tina Griffin, the counterculture mom. A lot of un-Easterly things going on in our culture right now. A lot of atheist and secularist and downright kooky attacks on the season and on Christ and on Christians. And so we've got to start with Little Nas, right? Tell us who this guy is and what's he up to now.
Well, this guy is nuts. Little Nas X is the artist that everyone came to know through his original song called, and his first big hit, Old Town Road. And sad to say, my 2 young girls started singing it. I'm like, that's enough of that. He's now released a brand new music video called Montero, Call Me By Your Name. As you can see from these images, very demonic. This is one of the most vile, horrific videos, Dr. Duke, I have seen in my life, and I've seen a ton. The video has sex, drugs, homosexuality, foul language, and to top it off, Little Nas X gives a lap dance to Satan, all happening in what appears to be the Garden of Eden. This video is definitely demonic, and I would bet that this rapper is literally demon possessed. And I've really run into a lot of celebrities when I lived in Hollywood. I've done a lot of research on these celebrities, and they admit they're demon possessed. This guy did not come out and say it, but I'm a 99% sure that he is literally demon possessed.
We got to make it clear. This is a continuation of what we've seen for a long time. I remember back in the 80s when you had more or less had Madonna quasi-humping a crucifix. You remember that video that she did for, I forget the song, but it was one where she was engaging, almost close to engaging with sexual intercourse with a crucifix. And this is just a line. You've got Lady Gaga's nonsense. You've got, to some degree, Cardi B has flirted with this kind of occult stuff. Katy Perry, many others in the long history of the last 30, 40 years, particularly female particularly female. The only thing I can think of on the male side, you got to go back to the 1980s with Ozzy Osbourne and his biting the heads off bats nonsense, or Kanye. If you remember, we remember Kanye West having himself crucified as Jesus Christ on the cover of a magazine. But it seems to be something unusually about women doing it. But now you've got Nas as the first real gay artist to embrace this.
Yeah, it's really nuts. And to go back, like you said, I mean, I've been talking about Beyonce. She says she has Sasha Fierce inside of her, and she knows she's demon possessed. I have that video on the Counterculture Mom YouTube channel. People need to check that out. And it's all over our app. But that one, you've got Madonna, like you said. I also remember her wearing a crown of thorns on a crucifix when she was traveling the country. And you have a lot of these celebrities. Katy Perry, I even have a clip that's on my website as well. Katy Perry saying she knows that she's demon possessed and she wants to honor Satan because she wasn't making it big as a Christian in the music industry. So when they say they sold their soul to the devil, which is the exact words that Katy Perry used in an interview about 15 years ago, they literally mean what they're saying. It's not a joke. And so this one got a lot of attention because now we have it even on the side of a shoe. But I want to quickly wrap up by saying this. You mentioned that Little Nas X has a big influence on kids. He absolutely does. 33 million children saw him when he did a concert for Roblox, a big shindig on the internet, and on TV. So a lot of these kids are watching this, and that's what gets very, very, very deceptive and very alarming, because it's not just this guy is out there, wannabe rapper, and 3 people see it. This stuff is trending. These kids are seeing it. And a lot of people are being exposed to what you see right here.
Well, and I don't doubt what you're saying. I agree with you 100%. I think they take this very seriously. I think for a lot of these brain-addled celebrities, this kind of alliance with demonology of the devil itself, there's a lot of seriousness to it. But it's also a money-making proposition, isn't it? I mean, it seems that these kind of stunts make a lot of money. And behind this video was a 666 pairs of Nike tennis shoes, a very limited edition, Little Nas put out. It's got an actual drop of blood in the heels, the soles of these shoes.
This nasty video, it collaborated right with this shoe sale. So of course he pumps out the video, kids are watching it. Now they want to get one of the 666 pairs of shoes that's out there. And what happened was he collaborated with the streetwear company MSCHF on a pair of these Satan shoes. That's what they're called. They sold in under a minute for $1,018. And I'm thinking, well, interesting on the amount of cash. So he made almost more than $500,000, $666,000. It's insane. In less than a minute, pushing Satanism on kids. And as you can see by the box, Satanism all over that paraphernalia as well. And also we've got the $1,018, which was an aha moment for me minutes before doing this episode. Literally, it matches the verse on the side of the shoe. Now, if you look right here on the side of the shoe, you're going to see Luke 10:18. And he said to them, I saw Satan fall like lightning from heaven. That is the same amount as what he sold them for. And you also have the demonic satanic pentagram. Now, some people are saying on Instagram, and I'm getting blown up, a bunch of emails coming in, most of them saying, support it, can't believe this is going on, thank you for letting us know. Some of the people saying, that's just a total no big deal, it's a little charm on a shoe. Do the research, people. Aleister Crowley, he's been out there for probably 60 years now already. A lot of bands follow this guy. Total Satanist. This symbolism is all over the place, and it's now blatantly right in front of our face. So run from the shoe. Literally, if you got it, repent and get rid of it. Burn it. Don't even try to resell it.
Well, and you wonder, it was all sold out in a matter of seconds, all 666 of them. You wonder if this is collectors or big people buying bulk versions of this so that they can then turn around and save it. Scarcity runs the market, right? So then turn around and sell it for 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 times what they're offering. And it's just, the whole thing is bizarre. This weird alliance between capitalism, weird perverse form of capitalism, and demonology is a dangerous thing for our culture. And you never know. Are they laughing at us, or are they despising us, or a little bit of both from the progressive secular atheist left here?
Now, if you get our Counterculture Mom app, you will see alerts like this every single day. We have 6 or 7 that we pump out all over the place through the Counterculture Mom app with a team of 24 people to make sure that you know exactly what's coming out before your kids buy a shoe, before your kids see this demonic, literally Satan-possessed celebrity. One more thing I have to add into Little Nas X's life. This I just blew up on my phone right before I went live. So check this out. Okay, Little Nas X just released on TikTok, just now, a pole dancing challenge for kids. This is how demonic these people get. Kids are asked to send in their best pole dancing routine for a chance to win $10,000. Little Nas X just did that, telling kids who follow him, 33 million just watching his music videos alone, to send in a pole dancing routine. Are you serious? This guy should be in prison with handcuffs on and locked up.
We know how this story is going to end. Good will triumph over evil. Christ will triumph over darkness. But we have an obligation while we're alive to protect our kids, to make sure our kids grow up with that truth. And there's a huge Hollywood marketing campaign all over this country trying to pull kids away from God. It is indeed time for some real education. Paradise Lost, this is our second to last story on Paradise Lost. This one's of John Milton's great Christian epic, his great Protestant epic, the fall of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden, tempted by Satan, who has been booted from heaven after waging war against God and the good angels. Just so much stuff. One of the great hallmark texts of Western culture, text that all your kids would have read by the time they graduated high school 30, 40 years ago. And now they can major in English. They can major in Renaissance English at the local college. They probably still won't read John Milton. Too white, too male, too Christian. Cisgendered Christian nationalism, I suppose they would call it. But here at the Dr. Duke Show, we're going to share with you another example of this wonderful poem, and hope you'll pick up the book and read it. This one is from Book 6 of Paradise Lost. This is a great moment when the war for heaven is finally fought. You've got Satan at the head of the rebel angels. You've got Michael the archangel at the head of the loyal angels. Satan managed to seduce about 1/3 of the angels to fight against God, and the 2/3 who stayed loyal. And there's this great scene at the beginning of the war where Satan, larger than all the other angels, more powerful than all the other angels from when he was Lucifer, right? The greatest of the angels. He steps forward outside of his army and challenges the good angels. Send me a champion. He's very David and Goliath, right? Satan says, send me your strongest warrior. I will fight him angel to angel. And the interesting thing is, it's not one of the great seraphs who steps forward. It's the smallest of all the angels, Abdiel. One of the most insignificant, one of the smallest, one of the least powerful of all the angels. Abdiel steps out to do battle with Satan. Of course, this, in God's mind, is the point. It doesn't require great strength or physical power or warlike prowess for good to be able to challenge and defeat evil. So the weakest of the angels physically stands toe-to-toe with this powerful monolith, this powerful Goliath-like Satan. And when the two battles come together and Abdiel draws his sword to strike first, he actually surprises Satan and cuts him. Satan is so staggered by the blow that he stumbles backwards and falls down to one knee. In other words, little Abdiel makes great Satan kneel before the throne of God, not by choice, but by the power of good. Here's how Milton described it in his beautiful poetry. To whom in brief, thus Abdiel stern replied. And what did Abdiel say to Satan before he attacked him? Apostate, still thou err, nor end wilt find of erring. From the path of truth remote, reign thou in hell thy kingdom. Let me serve in heaven God ever blessed, and his divine behests obey, worthiest to be obeyed. Yet chains in hell, Satan, not realms expect. Meanwhile, from me returned, as erst thou saidst, from flight, this greeting on thy imperious crest receive. So saying, a noble stroke Abdiel lifted high, which hung not, but so swift with tempest, fell on the proud crest of Satan, that no sight, no motion of swift thought, less could his shield such ruin intercept. 10 paces back, huge, he recoiled. The 10th on bended knee, his massive spear upstayed. as if on earth winds underground or waters forcing way sidelong had pushed a mountain from his seat, half sunk with all its pines. The great monster on one knee, genuflecting by force before the throne of God, all because of the loyalty and the faith of the weakest of all the angels. All right, just a quick reminder on this wonderful, blessed Good Friday. Please download our brand new Freedom Project Media app. You get access to 17 new shows a week, plus our entire library of content. Simply search Freedom Project in your app store and make sure to allow notifications. And if you're a fan of the show, also please consider a one-time tax-deductible donation to support our Patriot Club. We'll send you that beautiful signature tumbler right there. Simply visit patriotclub.us. That's patriotclub.us. Now we want to take a moment to show some love to our Patriot Club members. Today, we'd like to give a shout out to Deanna from Austin, Texas. Hey, Deanna, you're in the middle of the vortex of evil, right? Based on our earlier show today. Thank you so much for supporting us from Austin. Let's keep Austin Christian, not weird. And that's going to do it for this show. Now make sure you go download the Freedom Project app. For Freedom Project, I'm Dr. Duke. Until next time, stay educated and stay saved, my friends. Jesus did all the work after all.